On the June 28 edition of War a Week Radio, Hall of Fame promoter and Golden Boy advisor Don Shargun explained why the September 17th championship bout between Canelo Alvarez and Liam Smith will be featured on pay-per-view rather than subscriber HBO.
We do want to get your thoughts on the recent announcement from Golden Boy Promotions as well as Frank Warren, and this is going to be, broadcast overseas on Box Nation, on HBO pay-per-view stateside, and that's Canelo Alvarez fighting for Liam Beefy Smith's 154-pound title, the W.A.W championship. Don, what went into making this decision, and why is this event on pay-per-view, sir?
Well, the HBO, they're not dates, and he's a pay-per-view fighter. While this doesn't measure up to the Cotto fights and that, he wants to keep busy. It's like Top Rank. They're going for pay-per-view because there aren't any dates on HBO.
Wow.
With their Omaha Flash.
Wow. Yeah, this is this is a very, very, and the reason why I bring this up, Don, and I asked for that explanation is, well, that seems to be the biggest issue with most fight fans. Obviously, Golovkin moved on, and he's in the interim, and it looks like K2 is currently negotiating with Eddie Hearn, putting together a potential fight for September or October between Gennady Golovkin and Chris Eubank Jr. And so, this left room for Canelo Alvarez and Liam Smith. But the biggest issue, it's that this fight is on pay-per-view. That seems to be the ongoing sentiment. And so from how you understand it, it's a problem with the lack of dates that HBO is willing to actually offer in their programming. Why do you think they're so scarce with their dates this season?
I don't know. They've cut way back. I mean, they were talking about it several months back, and it came to fruition. But it's all the promoters that do business with HBO, they've all, I've talked to them, they've all said the same thing. I mean, here's Top Rank. Like I say, they're going with their show that they would have had on HBO, and Golden Boy. And if it keeps up, and I know Golden Boy dying for dates because Ortiz, the big Cuban, who I think, along with Joshua, I think are the two top prospects in the heavyweight division. And
agreed.
He's, they've got the Russian challenger and all of that, but no dates.
Wow, agreed. This is perplexing, and this is not good news for fight fans. And we've kind of projected this with the lack of, ratings, the lack of money generated by their last several pay-per-view events. This is tough. I think this is a huge backlash from the huge losses that they actually experienced with Manny Pacquiao versus Tim Bradley.
Right.
I think this is a direct byproduct of that. What's going to change
those
this
companies
trend?
got stockholders, Joseph, that they have to answer to also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's becoming increasingly more difficult, especially with the disappointing ratings. It's becoming increasingly difficult to justify their investment within the sport of boxing. Boy, that's not good news for the sport in America. So what's the alternative? Are fight fans just going to have to get used to paying for their premium matchups, Don?
Well, I don't know. I think they're talking about trying different things and that. So we'll just see how this all shakes out in the next month or two.
Very good. Very good. I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, guys. But once again, it's imperative that you support your beloved boxing on both HBO and Showtime anytime it's featured, because ratings determine everything. Ratings, pay-per-view sales, they determine the future of the sport in America. Yeah, and it's, I mean, you could say for fight fans, they don't like having to pay for all of this, but I don't see where they're going to have any choice. I mean, the UFC has already adopted this model because of the lack of platform. They have no choice. They're not regularly featured on HBO or Showtime. They don't have a network who's willing to pay that big licensing fee, so they're forced to stage their events on pay-per-view exclusively. Do you think boxing is headed in that direction, Don?
It could be. If there's no change in the next couple of months, it could very well be.
Wow, that's scary. So, guys, you might not like it, but you better learn to love it. Support your beloved boxing, guys.